I don't have to tell you how good cinnamon raisin bread is, but you have never had one like this. I'm calling it tunnels of cinnamon bread because it's a braided bread and there's tunnels of brown sugar and cinnamon inside each braid, and it's absolutely awesome. And here's how I make it. I'm going to start with my mixer with 2 cups of bread flour into the mixer. You can use all-purpose, but bread flour does rise a little bit better with yeast. A 1/4 cup of sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and we're going to put some yeast in. Now I'm using this rapid rise instant yeast, but check your package for temperature because regular yeast, you can use that too, uses 110 degrees, this is 120 degrees so for the liquid. So this 1 package of yeast goes in here. I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to add, it's 3/4 of a cup, sorry, 3/4 of a cup of, I'm using 1% milk heated to 120 degrees, which is what this yeast requires. So I'm going to put that in. Always put the warm stuff in first to hit the yeast first. And after that, it's going to be 3 tablespoons of oil. You can use canola or extra light olive oil in this. So there goes the oil. And also at room temperature, have everything at room temperature. This is 1 egg. And now we're going to beat this on high for 2 minutes. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes. Now we're going to add 1 cup of raisins, and I like to use gold or yellow raisins. And this is the one that I use because some of them are kind of dry, but these are nice moist raisins. So I'm going to use a cup of golden raisins that go in here. And then we're going to add between 1/4 to 1/2 cup of additional flour to make this into like a sort of a solid mass. So I'm going to start with about 1/4. Let's see how that starts to come together. There it is. Look at those raisins. Oh, they're so beautiful, those golden raisins. It just makes this a little bit more different. Okay, I think that's pretty good. All right, so now you're going to knead it and just add whatever flour you need to knead with. Just put a little on the top. And I'm going to knead this like 100 turns. Of course, a scraper always helps to get it started because it will stick at the beginning. But there it is. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. So this is only a 1 rise bread, so it's pretty quick. And what we have to do is let it rest for 10 minutes. So I'm going to get rid of this flour and put this bowl over it. You cover it with something, plastic, a cloth. I'm going to cover it with the bowl and let it rest for 10 minutes. Well, it's almost 10 minutes while this has been resting. So in the meantime, I've lined my baking sheet with parchment paper, and we're going to mix together the filling that's going to go into these the tunnels. So we're going to mix together 1/4 cup of brown sugar and a tablespoon of cinnamon. Okay? You just mix that up. Just takes a second. That's part of your tunnel filling. And I'm also going to be using either softened butter or trans fat-free margarine. I've done it with both. I've done it with Smart Balance. It comes out great. But it's 2 tablespoons of whatever you choose to use. So you can make this bread with no butter at all. So that's what's going to go in the tunnel. So now we're going to work on the dough. This is the fun part. Okay, so here it is after it's been rested. Looks good, nice and good texture, good feel. Put a little more flour on here. Now we're going to roll this into a rectangle. And you definitely want it to be 9 inches wide by 12. And I'll show you why in a second. Let's see. All right. That's 9 inches right there. And this is like 11 and a half. So I'm just going to go just a little bit longer and we got it. You could almost just stretch the rest of it just like that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the tape measure again and we're going to mark a 3-inch, because we're going to make three strips out of this. So there's 3 inches there, and there's 6 there. Now that's the marking you're going to use to make 3 strips. So I just go along here. You do not have to be perfect at all. And you cut 3 rows like that. Make 2 cuts to make 3 strips. And that's going to be the braids. Okay? All right, now I'm just going to kind of make sure they're separated and make sure they're ready to go. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is first we're going to put that butter or trans fat-free margarine down the center. You want to keep it away from the edges. And I usually just do it with a spoon. This is, I just love this part. Just divide your butter or margarine between the three. Now, what we're going to do is put like a skinny row of this brown sugar and cinnamon, and it works pretty nicely with a spoon. So I'm going to show you two ways that I've done this. One is I just take a spoon, and if you just kind of tap like that, it winds up pretty good. And again, it's never going to be perfect, but just cover the that little strip of butter, and here's 3. Now, if the spoon doesn't work for you, here's another way that I've done it that works pretty good. I take a piece of wax paper and make kind of like a funnel out of it. Let's see if it works for me this time. I pour it on the wax paper, and you just kind of make like a little opening there, and if you kind of see, it comes out nice and skinny like that. Look, I think I invented this. Look at this. All right. God, there's still more left. Okay, I know it's a lot, but you just keep going, because the more you can put on here, the better those tunnels are going to be when you slice the bread. Okay. All right, now we're going to close these up, and all you do is you just kind of stretch it like this and just close it up. Look at that. That's the tunnels. Oh my God, look. And you can, if it's close to the edge, you just stretch it out farther like this. It's dough, you know. And if it's not sticking for whatever reason, you can take a little water, which I have here, and you can just put a little water on the edge like that, and that'll help it to stick if it's not sticking for you. I don't usually need the water, but if you need it, it's no problem. And look, can you see that? Just close it up. Go back over it again. You do the same thing with the other ones. All right, so there's the last one, and I just went, you go over it again, and now what I do, and I strongly suggest you do this, you put some flour on your hands, okay? A little flour on your hands, and then you pinch these closed, because that way they won't try to pinch back and open. So I just pinch everything closed with a little bit of flour. Just go over the closures. There we go. And that's about it right there. Now we're going to braid this, and then the tunnels are inside. How cool is that? All right. So here's how I put the pinch side on the bottom. You want those on the bottom. And then we're going to braid this into a braid, just like you might braid if you ever make an egg bread or something. So let's see. I always have trouble start. Okay, it's like this to start, and then like that. That's how you start. And then you just braid, keep the seam on the bottom. You can twist it if you want. And then you braid like that, just like you're braiding hair. Like this, like that, and that, and that. You tuck this under, like this. You tuck these under like that. You put them on the prepared baking sheet, like this. Tuck your ends under again, just to make sure they're all tucked. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Oh, I know that's dirty, but I'll get it in a second. You cover it with a towel. You put it in a warm spot to rise for an hour, and you never know. It can rise in an hour. It could be an hour and 15. Sometimes it's an hour and a half. But I use a warming drawer, and if you have a warm spot, it's usually an hour or just a little bit more. So that's it. We're going to rise this for 1 hour, and then bake it, and then we put some glaze on, and then that's it. Well, the oven's been preheated to 375, and this is a loaf that I made a little earlier, and it's already risen. Look at this. Da-da-da. Oh my God, that's beautiful. That rose for a little over an hour. And before we put it in the oven, we're going to put an egg wash on. It's going to give it a beautiful glossy finish. And I make my egg wash with 1 egg yolk and about a teaspoon of water. That's what's in here. So we just mix it up like that. And you just brush this loaf like that. This really, really makes a difference. Look at that. Just brush the whole thing. Okay, the egg wash is just about done. A little bit more here. And it took just about the whole egg yolk to do this. Beautiful, beautiful loaf. and tunnels of cinnamon. Oh my God. Okay, so that's it. It goes into that preheated 375-degree oven, and I'm going to put it in and set the timer. It bakes for 25 minutes. We'll set it for 25, and then we'll put the little glaze on it, and then it's all done. Can't wait for you to see it. One more thing, if the bread browns a little too much too quickly, check it after about 15 minutes, and mine's getting a little brown, so I'm going to put a foil tint on it. And here's how I make my foil tint. I take the foil, and I'm going to do it shiny side up because you want to reflect the heat away from the bread, and I actually scrunch it like this. And when you scrunch it like that, you can shape it into whatever you want. It's much easier. Look, you can shape it into, get the sides down like that, and then there's a nice little tint. So I'm going to put that on the bread, and it's got about 10 minutes to go. Just thought you might like that little foil tint. Okay, it's finally done. Let me show you how it looks. Ah. Look at this. Look. Oh my God. If you think that looks good, wait until you see what's inside. Those tunnels of cinnamon are so amazing. Now there's one last thing to do, which is to put a glaze on, but it has to cool down for about 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, we'll put the glaze on. So I'll be right back. Okay, I took it off the baking sheet onto a cutting board, and now we're going to put the glaze on. And the glaze I make with 1 cup of powdered sugar and just enough milk to make it the right consistency, usually about 2 tablespoons, but you really just start slowly because once you put too much in, you can't go back. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so now you glaze the bread, and you can have fun. This is fun for kids to do too. Do it whichever way you want. You can glaze it this way, across. You can glaze it down the long way. Let me see how high I can go. Watch this. Yikes. Now, let's see what's going on inside. It's still kind of warm, but I'll try to cut a piece and see if I can show you the tunnels in here. Okay, oh, it's still pretty warm. Oh God, this is just amazing. Let's see. All right, look at this. There's your tunnels right there, look. You see that? See that? The golden raisins and all those little tunnels of cinnamon. Oh my God, this is so awesome. I'm telling you, this bread, I mean, I know it's a special occasion bread, really. I mean, I only make it on special occasions like, you know, when I wash my hair, when I finish the laundry, when I open a DVD without a pair of pliers and a nail file, when my car starts, when cinnamon goes on sale, when I'm having a good hair day,